What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Booze and Twos podcast, live on the Crew Network. The crewnetwork.net is our website, and you can check out all our shows from the website now, directly on the website. You don't have to go to Apple Podcasts and go to Spotify. It can play directly from the website. So the crewnetwork.net is the site. We also have, of course, Prestige Film Festival happening in October. Fantastic festival. It's going to be in Banning again this year. We have given them the second annual Prestige Film Festival. So look out for details. Go to prestigefilmfestival.com for all the details. And then last but not least, Lux Bidets. Lux Bidets are here to stay. If you continue to wipe your ass with dry toilet paper, you're a caveman. You're a caveman. And
what are you, homeless in California? Get the fucking life.
That's right. All right, let's start the show.
The dream was broken, seen that all was lost. Would you be the future? Could you pay the cost? Will there ever be a second time around?
Whoa, when it's over and the moment has come, say my Lord, I think I found someone, and no one.
You guys are trying to sabotage today's show.
Together for the second time around.
Step by step, day by day, a fresh start over, a different hand to play.
We look like two big beach balls. Two giant pumpkins. Woo! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are here, the Crew Network. I am Chuck Bucks. And to my right, we have DK Murphy.
Four-chick, bad-chick, paycheck, buddy.
And SG, ladies
Shouldn't we
and
have
gentlemen.
opened up with Full House because that one guy died?
This we have not filmed it, or nor have we done the karaoke for it. So no.
Okay.
But we will. We dedicate this episode to Bob. On my left here we have Johnny Martin. Is that his name?
Shit, I haven't seen this guy in forever.
Johnny Martin.
Dude, you look way thinner than the last time you were here. Mm-hmm. Your head fits on his microphones fit on your head.
And Dick Sassy.
You mean Waldo?
Mr. Smee himself. Smee.
I came from the filming of the new Hook.
It should have been Dave Coulier.
That
Should have been Dave Coulier.
But today on the show, we actually have Robbie Kramer to give relationship advice. Obviously, you know, all of us are married except for our buddy here, DK Murphy.
Ugg McGruff.
Ugg McGruff.
Oh my God, you guys are horrible. Ferda.
But I'm confident that he does have some good advice for people that have relationships or wanting to get a relationship,
Yeah, I do.
especially
I sure
everybody. But
No, not just you.
oh, you do have advice.
Yeah, and listen to it on STD podcast.
But
You shouldn't. That's actually
all right,
That's
so
why Robbie Kramer had to talk to you, dude.
that's it. But yeah, ladies and
Shit, man.
is this something you want to play on your phone? Is that part of this, what's going on today?
our music.
Huh? Because you can't fucking pay attention to the goddamn show for 5 fucking minutes while we record an opening?
You're embarrassing us in public right now, bro. Come on now. I gotta back you up, but you're embarrassing us right now.
God damn it, I don't give a fuck.
I noticed, but still.
You know what? You're lucky you bring guests on this show.
Crew Network,
okay?
everybody. Crewnetwork.net, because .com costs more.
You're lucky
Get
we're in the
that shit
merger
right.
right now of Fox possibly buying this show, okay?
Fox, not Fox.
And somebody at Fox, I think, likes you because
The Spanish president? Fox?
the Spanish president
Fuck yeah,
might.
dude.
So I'm just letting you know, okay? You're lucky because I would have fired you a long time ago.
I'm getting this.
A long fucking time ago.
You've not gotten us midgets. You've promised midgets for so long that I don't even care anymore.
What do you mean?
Mom
Last
doesn't
week.
count.
A week in Pothead days is like a year.
Yeah. You've gotten
You
yourself
didn't get us
midgets
no
that you've
fucking
accomplished,
midgets.
But you never gotten one of our.
And maybe that's what they're holding up on is midgets. But I don't know.
Micromania, bro.
How long do you think it takes a midget? You think it's bad for a pothead? Think about how long it takes for a fucking midget. You've been promising him.
Yeah, they're still walking over here. What the fuck's a holdup?
Yeah, you know how long it takes a midget to walk down the block?
Little steps.
Anyways.
Cute little strides.
Well, guys, let's go into it. The interview with Mr. Robbie Kramer, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, everybody, listen up.
Right into it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Without further ado, the mind behind Inner Confidence that gives dating and lifestyle advice that doesn't necessarily suck. Okay, DK, because I know you offer a lot of advice. It's not the greatest advice. But give it up for Robbie Kramer, ladies and gentlemen. Finally,
Thanks, guys.
I know we tried to get you a couple times. Oh, okay. Anyways, guys, we tried to get you a couple times, but unfortunately, I know you're out in the Ukraine right now. Or is that?
Yeah, I spend most of my time in Ukraine. I'm actually avoiding the winter, so I'm in Turkey now. But yeah, it's a big time difference. So we've had.
You're avoiding the war. Heard about Russia going over there. What the hell?
Yeah, man, that was the other reason I got out. But
Good, dude.
Jeez.
yeah,
Okay.
Is
Turkey's
Turkey
nice.
as beautiful as they say?
Yeah, it's gorgeous here, and the lira just got killed for some reason, and so the dollar is going like twice as far. So everything's 50% off.
Oh, I need to
Damn.
over there.
You go Turkey.
Jeez. But no, let's so let's kind of give us an idea of what you do exactly, Robbie.
Sure. So basically what I do is I help guys who are typically dudes who haven't really paid a lot of attention to their dating life and social life. For me, that kind of happened right after I graduated from university. I no longer had like the social circle of girls around from college, and I was working a 9-to-5 job, and I was like, shit, how do I meet women? Like the online dating sites back then weren't really going, and now online dating sites are tough. Like if you're not insanely good looking as a dude, it's really tough to stand out because it's all based on looks, and that's really annoying. So, you know, the quality of woman you're going to attract online is a couple points lower than it is in real life. So what I mostly do is I help guys to meet women during their everyday life. You know, I could be walking down the street, going to Starbucks, at the grocery store, whatever. And not only does that allow you to get dates pretty easily because not a lot of other guys are doing it, but it also builds your confidence and it helps you get over the fear of rejection, any sort of embarrassment or a shame you might have around like your attraction towards women. That's a big thing that I used to have. I was like that stereotypical like inauthentic nice guy, as they call it. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the book No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I used to like, you know, to try to get women to like me. I remember in high school and college, I'd like do extra copies of my homework for them and, you know, just try to like get in their pants by being that nice guy. And that never worked. I was just always in the friend zone forever. So doing a lot of these sort of exercises to stop being that dude who just tries to like, you know, woo him into bed by being overly nice was kind of a transformational experience for me. Really got me over a lot of my own sort of insecurities and confidence issues. And I just kind of help guys take that same journey now.
My only question right out the bat.
Oh, go ahead.
Because you're handsome as shit. How is it for like ugly people? And like, how is it that you initially tell those people where it's like, hey man, I know like I've never had to try this, but you should try this type thing. Like, where does it go on that level of like, hey man, this has worked for me, maybe it'll work for you, and if it doesn't, like, where's that progress of like that?
Well, when I first got into, you know, personal growth or whatever, I was about 55 pounds heavier than I am now, and you know, I've made a lot of improvements to like how I look. I actually got a hair transplant like about a year and a half ago, but you know, they're cheap in Turkey, so it's a good place to do it. But you know, the first thing I say to do is like,
I need to go to Turkey.
And him too.
Take the hair from his beard and put it on his head. Transplant that.
But you're red.
And there's nothing wrong with being bald, you know. Like if you want to shave your head, that's great. Like
gonna happen.
balding is not a choice,
Okay.
but bald or hair is.
Yeah, but some people can like rock the bald look, and some people can't.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping on that
I think
ladder.
most people.
I'm
Hey,
hoping
talk,
I'm in that
talk
ladder.
directly in the mic.
Well, I don't think like SG, you can't rock the bald look, but
I'm gonna have to though eventually.
you totally could. So I mean, I would say that you should go to Turkey. Maybe you shouldn't.
I couldn't rock the bald look. That's why I did the transplant. And
Good choice.
it wasn't about getting women for me. I've engaged and I've been with my fiance prior to getting the transplant, but it was more just about my own sort of personal confidence or whatever. But to answer the question, so I was overweight. I was dressing like shit. I wasn't really doing things to at least make myself the best version of me. So if you're if you have areas where you can clean that up, like every little bit might help a little bit, but at the end of the day, women care way more about your personality and your confidence more than how you look, right? We're kind of lucky as guys because we're more.
He knows that too. He's like,
more
confidence
visual.
is what it's all about.
Yeah, Robbie, the only guy that's not married here looks like shit and has got a big beard. That guy right there, if you haven't figured it out. So, I mean, he gets poon. Don't get me wrong. This guy's got plenty of confidence. He's got confidence. And I think, is that the key to getting women?
I want to say one thing.
Oh.
So he's right about the friend zone thing, but I want to say this. I'm like the Snake Plissken of the friend zone. I escape that shit all the time.
Who's Snake Plissken?
Okay.
So this guy is like, hey.
Anyways, we're listening to a professional.
Yeah.
Talk about relationships.
Yeah. Relax. Take some pointers.
Yeah.
So you're telling me my boy DK here can probably get some higher quality girls and maybe someone to settle down with if he maybe dresses a little bit better.
Yeah, does a better presentation of himself.
You're just making a better first impression that way, right? So if you're trying to meet women with not using your social circle, that matters more, right? If you already have like an awesome social circle and you're meeting women through your friends and they're already like totally like, yeah, you're the man, this guy's awesome, you're gonna love him, then that shit doesn't matter as much. But if you're walking up to a girl in a Starbucks and you're hitting on her, obviously the confidence is gonna come, it's gonna matter way more. Like you can always overcome your appearance, but why not make it as good as you can? That's kind of my opinion on it.
Yeah,
I don't like that all of you are looking at me right now.
I'm not, I believe me, I make it a point not to look at you.
So, Robbie, has there been guys that you come across that obviously have big, deep pockets that you can't do anything with?
Deep pockets, like too much money?
Way too much money, and they can't get any poon, and you can't help them out. You've tried everything.
Like they're rich and they
You're saying-
You practically gave up on them.
You're saying what's the worst case?
Yeah, what's the worst case scenario you've ever dealt with?
like the opposite of Richard Gere from Pretty Woman.
That's kind of interesting. I've got a guy that I've been working with now. He's a very successful professional poker player, extremely wealthy from poker. And he has Asperger's or a mild form of autism.
Yeah.
Very awkward. He just doesn't understand social cues, like, you know, because of the being on the spectrum. And those guys are the toughest to work with because, you know, how are you supposed to read a woman or, you know,
I was gonna say, you
read people.
That, like, sorry to say, but women will totally be with an unattractive man that has confidence over, over like a guy that's actually attractive, but is socially awkward. Because a socially awkward guy, attractive or not, it's like, it's fucking weird. I don't want to be around this shit. Like, you know, there's that whole thing. But a guy that's confident, a girl will like kind of jump towards that, you know. Women tend to go after the guy that is the loud one in the group, you know, the confident one, the one showing off type thing. So, which in our
100%,
group, that is Murph.
My confidence game is pretty good.
Awesome, dude.
All right, we get it. Guys, so yeah, no, so I think you hit it right on the head there, because we have a guy that's the brother of Dick Sassy here, and supposedly he's hung like a horse. I mean, we've seen a little bit of Dick Root there, but we've done several shows, including calling prostitutes, to try to get this guy laid, and no luck. I mean, everyone's hung up on us or super awkward.
He's more like hung like a pony.
As soon as they hear him talk and interaction,
Yeah,
it's like,
this guy is, but the bottom line is that we just figured that there's no hope because he's just socially awkward. This guy just only talks about shit that he wants to talk about, which is, I don't know, video games
comic
or
books
the
and-
Norse
and
gods.
the Norse
Yeah,
gods. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. The Viking Norse gods.
So it's hard. I mean, what are you gonna tell? What are you gonna tell a lady on your first date? So Thor,
You look like a
that's-
Valkyrie.
Yeah, and you don't want.
Wait, so sorry. What was the question? If you don't only talk about that shit?
Yeah, our boy right here, Sassy's younger brother, literally is that guy. Like he's super socially awkward to the point, not just in general of like hi bye. That takes 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, it's more than that. Like we've taken him out. We did an episode where we took him out. He was on a blind date. It was pretty fun, pretty funny. But even on the blind date, she said around us, he won't open up. He goes silent. But then, according to her, on the date, he wouldn't shut the fuck up. He wouldn't let her get a word in.
Okay.
So it was like he went the other way. We said, hey, you know.
Right.
So he's probably so around you guys, you're his older brother, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably shy around his older brother, like cool older brother with like his friends who are, these confident, outgoing alpha dudes. He's probably like, fuck, I don't want to talk to these guys about the dorky shit that they're just gonna make fun of me all day. So I'm just gonna shut up. But then when he gets around a girl, if he if he thinks he's got at least a captive audience, maybe he'll then feel comfortable enough to start sharing about all the dorky shit he does, which probably isn't going to attract her.
It dried up her vajayjay.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
came in
Yeah,
red
it
and
was-
came out dry.
Oh my god, yeah, fucking vagina dryer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you got to understand that there's some topics that you just don't really want to talk about on a first date, like politics.
Yeah, me and you understand that. But,
video games,
but the idea that the normal,
religion.
the average guy doesn't get that—that's crazy to me. Like it's like, dude, you don't talk to your best friend about this shit. Why would you talk to a random that you just met about this?
Yeah, it's like go online, go on Discord and chat about that with your gaming nerds. That's a good place to talk about that shit, or Reddit. But on a date, you should be doing only 10 to 20% of the talking. You should be getting her to talk most of the time. And if she's talking, you're looking better and better.
Oh yeah,
Boing.
Yeah.
That's it. So Robbie, I understand obviously you have the whole list of like questions, especially on the website that you teach people right off the bat. One of them is actually the first venue you should take a girl, especially in these times of COVID. What's the answer to that question? I mean, say for instance, our friend here meets a girl. Where should he take her?
Yeah, so the running a date or quarterbacking a date is one of the easiest things to do if you know what you're doing. It's also one of the most kind of stressful and hardest things to do if you don't. So the whole idea around a date is if you're trying to move like two people who are basically strangers to enough of a connection where they might want to get naked together, right? Maybe it's a series of dates where that happens.
Hell yeah.
But you have to understand like what happens during that progression. And most guys don't really think about it. And they're just like, oh, let's go to dinner. And the problem with dinner is you show up, you've got this awkward situation where you're like trying to have a conversation. You're also trying to read a menu, trying to talk to a server who's helping you. And it just creates all this friction and all of these barriers to having like a cool, good conversation. So the best place to start is just like any sort of bar or dive bar. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You just, sit, have like a 30 to 30-minute, 45-minute conversation, have a couple drinks, everyone's going to get loosened up. The conversation doesn't have to be exceptionally awesome because you're just kind of having that back and forth, sort of getting to know each other. But then from there, the key is to move venues. And that's the easiest. Hey, let's run around the corner and there's a cool place I want to show you.
Yeah, to make
and that could
want
be
to be with you more.
Well, it just changes the energy. Like if you're feeling like, oh, this is a little bit slower, maybe she's not as like opening up and maybe she's not as flirty as I'd want her to be. Once you change venues, it's kind of like you're on a different date and it changes the energy. So then you go to another place, maybe it's more like a lounge, speakeasy type of joint with cocktails, and now you've got an opportunity to change the seating location. Because if you're sitting maybe like across from her or next to her at like the bar, now you go to a place where you've got a couch, you can sit next to her and there's more opportunities there if she likes you for her to touch you more, to get a little bit closer. And from there, if that's going well, usually, there's a decent chance there might be some kissing action. I would then go to the third venue. So if you think of the first venue kind of as like just the basic connection phase, the second venue is more intimate. The conversation gets a little bit more personal. I like to play this silly game. It's basically truth or dare without the dare. So when I get to that second venue, I say, hey, let's play a game. It's I'm sure you played it before. It's called Truth or Dare Without the Dare. The questions game. Really easy. There's 3 rules. You have to be honest. You have to ask a question and then answer your own question. And then the third rule, so the game isn't boring, I can't ask you like, what's your favorite color? Because that's lame. I have to ask you something that makes you potentially like embarrassed or awkward, right? So I'll go first. When was the first time you like got totally busted by your parents? And she'll answer that question, I'll answer it, and then she'll ask me a question. So basically,
you just open them up.
Basically, by like the third or fourth question, usually talking about sex.
Yeah, I've done that.
And the conversation just gets.
He's done that with his mom.
And the conversation gets way more interesting.
Him and his mom practice so much. Like they're Irish, they just push the whole thing.
I've done that before. It's it's getting the person to open up, and the more questions you ask, you're being honest, and they do end up getting a little more spicier. But that opens you up slowly but surely.
This is when you got busted by the cops for a DUI.
What?
Anyways, that makes sense, Robbie, because we took our boy here, Draven, and he's a real tall giant. He's got to be 6'7". I don't know. He's big as these rafters. Yeah. And we basically found a slutty girl named let's just call her M. And basically, she won the blind date on the show. They went on the date, but we took them to eat. But her first thing she wanted to do was a dive bar. Well, instead we did take them to eat.
Let's just go drink.
So I was like, shit, man, we could have saved some money on some food.
Well, it's kind of all of our fault because they got
it is all our fault.
They paired 2 introverts.
She wanted to go to step 3, and they were like, hey, let's be normal. Step 1 and 2. Like,
you got 2 shy people together,
Instead, we kind of made it where like they had the food, they were a little settled. He was kind of nervous, and it just was so damn awkward.
They had time to talk, and they were both socially awkward, so it was not
just
good.
on their phones.
We fucked up.
Me and Murph, my buddy right here, that we're talking about, like everything you were talking about was like most people say restaurant. I'm pretty sure we dominate in the restaurant because we're able to talk and interact. That's not a shy thing for us.
But also, what we're forgetting to add is there was alcohol involved.
We did buy them drinks.
Yeah, that's the only way to get them to talk, though.
And they still didn't talk.
He talked. And then he no. We did sit him on the couch and then do a podcast. And then he did imply to basically put his hand over her. And I don't know.
He got to Avenue 2. And that was as far as it went.
So he got to the second venue. They had some drinks,
and she was done. But
she went to the she had the drinks. They came back, did the podcast, and she was done after that.
She was tipsy, but still didn't want none.
Yeah. She might have a case of the Downs. That's just a side note.
I'm up with my poker friend.
Yeah. They both might have a case of the Downs.
Hey, I think we just made a match.
That's like that's our whack pack. I don't know what show this is. But
the one last thing I wanted to add about that.
Have you ever worked with special needs people? That's a question.
Let's not get Robbie in trouble. Like, what would you have to say?
I'm just asking because you work special needs
us right now.
I know, right? He's like, yeah, right now.
He's working with us.
Holy shit! Are you kidding?
Hey, Spitter!
He's on for charity. I did boost the dude.
Because I'm gonna claim you guys on my taxes for fucking special needs.
Damn.
Oh man.
We're sorry, Em.
My friend Emily, she's extremely socially awkward. However, she kind of jumped into the sex game head first, which I kind of think was the wrong way. Like,
sure.
She started going, and so we got her on the show because we wanted to play the dating game. And it was just so crazily awkward watching them. We paid for their drinks. We paid for the food. What are you laughing at?
What I just said. That was a great joke, dude.
All right, that's it. That's it.
Anyways, back to it.
Back to what you were saying, Robbie.
So the last part about the whole sort of dating progression, I call it the dating protocol. because it's literally just an easy paint by number system you could follow. So that after that second venue where you play this questions game, you're having a more intimate conversation. If you're able to kiss, a kiss will usually happen at that point. And if you do kiss, that's kind of the important thing to think about, because that means like you two have crossed that imaginary boundary and you now like each other. And then after that, dating can be a lot more fun because it's like all that pressure is off because you've already kind of kissed her. And then don't make the mistake that most guys make, which is pushing for sex too hard. Like sex is going to happen.
Yeah.
If you kiss her, sex is going to happen. Like there's no need to push for it.
Yeah.
But just, you can just do what I call couples experiences from then on out. So the third venue, if you make it that far on the first date, is go to like a pool hall, go to like a bar where you can play darts or pool or some sort of games and just play games until, she's basically going to want to fuck. Not so long after that. If you're playing those games, you're having fun.
So you're saying you got to let her win. Let her win the games, right?
Yeah. You can bet on it.
You got to dunk on that bitch. You got to tell her it was boss. Show her where the fucking elf is. It's too real for you, Billy.
So I'm not like your loser ex-boyfriends. I fucking win.
Yeah.
Nerds lose. Yeah. Your last boyfriend lost with a piece of shit. No wonder why you left him. In your face. In your face.
Yeah, because what do couples have sex, right? So if you do enough experiences with her, that is where you feel like a couple, she's gonna want to hook up, and that's the whole dating progression. So if you don't do that on the first date, the next date, like if you've already kissed her, then you can do like a fucking ice skating.
I love how you just analyze my life, and I'm like reflecting in it. I'm like, oh, I did all these things without knowing it. I was just like doing stuff with people. Like,
I was thinking like, you've had sex? What's it like?
Great, fucking
with
you're
an
regular.
adult.
Yeah, just take your fucking act somewhere else. All right, Robbie. I guess, lame. I guess some people, especially nowadays, they're all on the apps, and you set up all that stuff online. You set up meetings online. Now, obviously, especially probably in DK's case here, they might flake on you, and women tend to flake on these apps. I'm sure they do. I have not been in the market a long time, but I imagine they would. How do you react to something like that? That women basically that start that flake on you, that ghost you.
Yeah, so I have like a one strike and you're out policy when it comes to flaking. Because sometimes a flake is real. Something comes up, it happens to all of us, right? Like I think I've accidentally flaked on the show, right? Like I've fucked up my alarm and missed one of the episodes, but you guys, you were nice. You had me another try. And that kind of happens in life. So you can't get mad at someone just for one mess up. But if she flakes on you guys twice, then she's out. And I would not waste your time, because this person is she's unavailable, or she's got other stuff going on. She doesn't see you as a priority. And if you try to chase after a woman who doesn't see you as worth investing her time in, she's even if you do end up on a date, it's not going to go well. She's just going to see you as too low value. So that's kind of the one strike you're out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, I know in the past too, you mentioned, especially here on the show, that you want to present yourself well, that you want to, lose maybe a couple pounds is obviously for your first impression. Now, someone that necessarily isn't the best looking guy, and maybe not the best in shape. I mean, what can you do going into a date that you think you can, like, what do you do with that situation? I mean, as far as impressing a girl or moving the next steps in a relationship. I mean, is it just come down to confidence?
I think what he's
I mean,
those people that are pretty bad, what's a first date quality? Because it's not going to go well. So you're more like, hey man, let's try this on this first date. Just build up the confidence. What's like step one on building up confidence?
Well, if you've got a date she's attracted to, like no girl's going to go on a date with a dude she's not attracted to. So you can kind of rest
in our city on Tinder. Oh yeah.
What if you send like pictures that you were 50 pounds less a couple years ago, and then like you're like, oh, you know what?
That's catfish.
You are a little bit, yeah. When you catfish, I mean, sure, it happens at tons of times, Robbie. And when you finally get there with the chick, and then she's like, "What?
Do
Are
guys-
you?
do
You
guys
see this
catfish?
girl, and she's 50 pounds. This is a
Guys?
picture she had in high school. I mean, this, what do you do in those situations where your first impression?
Yeah,
is
that's why I
nice?
tell guys to. That's why I tell guys to avoid online dating, because the odds of being catfished are like over 50%. The odds of being flaked on are like 80%.
You're telling them to avoid
Yeah.
that shit. Like,
That's crazy.
I always told all my friends, because first off, I'm not really well with online, but besides that, it's more of like, dude, what's wrong with like going out to a bar and meeting a chick? You know what I mean? Or guy, whatever they're fucking into. But it's like, what's wrong with going out and having that actual interaction? Because to me, and I know me and Murphy have said this before, like that initial spontaneity, like the spontaneous shit.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, that initial interaction is always way better than like the whole chit chatting and texting each other. Like, don't get me wrong, that's cool.
So much
too, but
better.
yeah, when you meet a girl or guy, whatever you're into, and like shit fucking hits it off and it's going well, that initial is always like the best.
So the thing that I think is the easiest, whether you're, you look like shit, you're not confident, doesn't matter. You can go out and you can do this, especially if you like give your buddy $100 and say, don't give this back to me unless, say you're at a mall or something. Don't give this $100 back to me unless I talk to one chick. Right. And you can just use this elevator pitch. I designed it because it's just some shit I use all the time. I've given it to my clients and they just run around, they do this and they get dates. It's so easy to basically just walk up to a girl and say, hey, I saw you and I had to risk embarrassing the hell out of myself to come over here and meet you. But, I'm busy. You're obviously busy. I don't know what you're doing, but how about this? Give me your number. If you don't like me, give me a fake one.
Wow.
That's
That's
fucking
it.
awesome.
Wow.
But then it's like, what if it's her mom's number? And
I
then you
almost
end up,
gave
like,
mine right now.
I just gave you my number.
Yeah.
I just gave my real
I was
number.
like, fuck, like that's really good. Who says no to that? Bitches,
Man.
dude. Fuck, that's
Wow.
awesome.
Damn, those.
So you can just walk up. You can do that 10 times. You're going to get at least one number, I promise. And odds are
look like this guy.
50% chance you'll get a date from that. So if you do that 20 times, you'll get a date with a good looking girl, right? You know what she looks like. You saw her in person. She saw you, and she's going to be excited to go on that date. And I have my clients do that 25 times a week. So they're, they're
That's why
getting.
you have to lose at least 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you
walking
can do it
around,
with
passing
whatever.
out that shit, you'll
Yeah.
lose the weight.
Murph's only issue is that he looks old.
Yeah, good exercise.
No, Murphy's issue here is he goes on this website called FetLife. You ever heard of it, Robbie?
Bet life? No.
Yeah, so it's a website
It's for the scum of the earth.
people, the scum of the earth that are into fetishes. And sometimes these girls pretend to be like 2-year-old babies.
They're into
I don't know.
every
They're like
fetish you
40
can
years
think of.
old and they're pretending to be little babies.
They drink oil.
He changes their diapers and shit. I mean, shit like that. Like, whips, chains.
Any fetish you could possibly
Any
think of
fetish
is
you could
on
think of.
that
He
website.
pulls chicks from this website. And I'm trying to tell him that's the quality of chick you're gonna get. Those are not women
Yeah,
you marry.
He's looking for somebody to get married to and have kids with, and we're like, dude, this
All
site
right.
for like
Okay, hold on.
failed.
I was going to
Almost
say, if you're
done.
just looking for fun,
Time,
that could be a good site.
right?
time out. You guys do
Yeah.
realize I'm in a relationship. That
Yeah,
I'm-
but not off that website, right?
But
Yes,
not off the web.
Not off the website.
Not off the
Exactly our
website.
point.
I met her in person.
Exactly.
Okay,
our
well, we're
point.
just giving some scenarios
Yeah.
here, okay?
Get off the
Jeez,
website, bro.
Is she real?
Jeez,
Do
bro.
what
Stop,
he's saying.
Hey, you wanna see the
and-
picture?
and meet them in real life.
stop being so sensitive, Joe.
Yeah, listen to
Okay,
the
now listen to the
professional.
professional
You got
here.
someone in
Well,
front
no,
of
that's
you.
right, because I know everything he's saying and I agree with it. And you're over here like,
Okay.
he just goes to this website. I'm like, no, dude.
Oh,
I meet people-
Does he have a
all
big
right.
ass beard? It's a
Yeah,
handsome
it
dude in
took
front of
you.
you.
It took you 45 years to learn what he learned at 25. How old are you again? 26, 27? Oh, no,
Oh,
Oh,
Kramer.
no, I'm 39.
He learned it in half of your life,
She has a Don Trump hair, dude.
We're all the same age,
but he looks
just
horrible, right?
about. Yeah, but Joe he's clearly look like he's in his 40s. But no, that's fine. No, but given that somebody that's on a website that attracts women like that, that want to settle down with a nice looking lady, what do you recommend? I mean, what do you
Yeah,
recommend?
he's trying
they
to settle
do?
down. What would you say for him right now?
Yeah, I mean, the odds of meeting an awesome chick on there are very low, of course. So you can certainly do it, but it's slim to
No,
none
I
chance.
understand completely what you're
So
saying. I have made 2 lifelong friends from that website. The both of
You're
which-
pronouncing it wrong. It's pronounced freaks.
they're still in my life. to this day as friends. Yeah, the chances of meeting somebody that you're gonna fall in love with on a place like FetLife is very low.
Oh yeah.
My mom.
So listen to him. What the fuck, dude? He's
But you
trying to
met
help
you met your girlfriend through
real life.
through your social life, right?
I used to work at a dispensary, and one day she came in, and I used to be a pro wrestler, and someone said to me, "How you feeling today?" And I used a wrestling reference. I said, "I feel like I just took a bump," and she goes, "Front bump or back bump?" And I was like, "You know what that is?"
Goosebumps.
Yeah,
Freaking
scary.
Yeah, not cocaine.
yeah.
That's
We,
all.
we exchanged Instagram and started talking, and then we started dating.
There you go.
Yeah, when he found
I
out,
like that line.
Yeah.
What?
I really like that line because it could go in so many directions. Right? I just took a. I feel
right?
like I just took a
Cocaine
bump.
bump,
No,
right?
not not cocaine.
Oh,
Wrestling.
not the bump.
Jeez.
Yeah, I just took a bump right now. Damn, dude, you're at work.
I guess it is a
Exactly what I was-
dispensary, so
Yeah,
wouldn't be out of the realm.
yeah,
Yeah, penis pump.
yeah. Just took a thrust.
But yeah, that's.
But you know, I mean, if guys are trying to like meet an awesome woman, right? Like go to the places that you like to hang out at. Like I'm a golf dork. Like I love golfing, and you'd be surprised. Like you can find hot chicks at the golf course, especially nowadays.
Especially the ones
You know,
cheating
more
on their
girls are
husbands,
getting into
bro.
golf.
Yeah.
COVID, like with COVID, golf is like way more popular. And you know, if you have the balls to just go and approach a woman at most places where most guys don't approach, you'd be shocked how many times you can get dates, because it's like the opposite of online dating. With online dating, they're getting just bombarded with interest, and their value is just going through the roof. Like a 6 on Tinder is like a 9, right? And that's and the opposite can happen in real life, right? If she's smoking hot, but she's like, you know, maybe she just got out of a relationship and her confidence isn't that high. If you walk up to her in an arena where she's not expecting to be hit on, like, you know, a Starbucks or just walking down the street or maybe at the golf course or maybe after yoga, you have a way higher chance of getting that girl, even if you're significantly like not as good looking as she is, because the confidence that comes from doing something like that.
My hookups when I was single, dude. Right now, like I was always catching girls like outside of work, at the gym, whatever.
You gotta catch them when the confidence is like, eh.
Yeah,
And
and
yours is
my
like,
6 held high on their 9.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just like, whatever. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
That's it, Robbie. Now, obviously, a lot of guys too, even if you know you're good looking and you have a little bit of dough, are scared of rejection. Okay, how do you break that fear?
Yeah, so the fear of rejection is the hardest thing to get over. It's same as the fear of approaching, right? It's the same. I'm gonna look like an idiot. She's not gonna like me. My buddies might see me do it at the bar, and they're gonna make fun of me. And that is really the key to all this stuff, because there's no way to get around it. Like there's no way to like hack rejection. You could only just get rejected a bunch of times and stop giving a shit.
Yeah.
And to do that, to do that, I like to put guys through what I call social freedom exercises. And that's where you go out, hopefully with a buddy, if you have someone you could go out with, and you intentionally get rejected. And you do stupid shit. So one thing that I do or have clients do is I tell them to find like a busy sidewalk and just lie down and just pretend like you're dead and see how long you can lie there before the social pressure like builds up too much where you have to get up, right? Maybe people are like coming over like, are you okay? So that's like one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is you can just walk up to people and intentionally get rejected. Like you can pretend that you're homeless and ask for change. That's a brutal one. Like doing that is like
he's done that.
Oh yeah, we do that for fun.
It did suck though, right?
Yo, people will just look at you like you're the biggest, you know,
scum of the
piece
earth.
of shit ever.
Shit, yeah.
You can then as you like want to build up your confidence and you want to, you know, basically you do this shit until it feels easy. So what I started to do when I was really afraid of rejection, I'd walk up to a girl on the street and I'd be like, hey, I think you're really cute, but I'm gonna run away now. And I would run away. And I did that like 5 or 6 times. And I was like,
that's at least funny.
she actually looked at me like,
that's funny.
wow,
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's kind of funny. Like, I'll give you that.
Does he
I
ever
was
chase
thinking
you?
you're just gonna be super awkward.
They ever say, "Hey, where you going?"
Well, they looked at me like I was an idiot for leaving.
Right.
And I realized that after I left, I was like, shit, I should have stayed.
Had a
And
chance.
eventually, after doing enough of those, you stop caring. And rejection, you just realize it's just a part of the game. It doesn't really mean anything about you. You know, when a girl rejects a guy, it usually has way more to do about what's going on in her life than anything about you. And guys take it so personally, and we think like, oh my God, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm that. I remember when I was like, my whole reason for getting into this line of work was based on a rejection I got in like 7th grade. I asked this girl to be my girlfriend, but I was too much of a pussy to ask her myself. So I asked her friend to ask her for me. I didn't know that the friend actually had a crush on me. So of course the girl said no because she didn't want to like, you know, cock block her friend with me, but I wasn't interested in the friend. So I just thought this girl rejected me because I was fat, and spent the next like 5 or 6 years not talking to any girls through high school, and just thought I was like a total loser because of this rejection that wasn't even a fucking rejection. So that happens so much of the time.
You know, Robbie, I gotta say, for me, in my own personal life right now, what would make my entire week or month or year would be if a group of, like, if you had an older brother who looked like you, but somehow he was like even more handsome. Him and his friends came in. They said, "All right, Robbie, enough of your playtime. Get up out of the podcast." And it turns out you're not at all like a relationship guru at all. You're like,
What the fuck is
What? I don't understand what the fuck just happened.
I would say he's on drugs. Forgive my friend.
He's been happily married since he was 17 and she was 12.
he's obviously good at what he does. But wouldn't it be great if a bunch of,
I thought he was gonna ask a serious
guys.
question. Robbie,
it's fucking
Robbie,
funny.
I know before all this, you were successful.
Wow.
You're college educated. What got you to do this? I mean, what, like, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna help guys out and help guys get dates. I mean, what did you do before this one? And then what got you into doing what you do now?
Yeah, were you a psych major? Did you do women's health or something? Whatever.
No, actually, I got a scholarship to play golf. So I was like a business major golfer in university.
So Happy Gilmore's your favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Favorite movie of all
Fuck yeah,
time.
bro.
Nailed it. I also played hockey, so even better.
Oh,
But
shit. Fucking name, man. Double hitter over here.
So when I graduated, I was working for an investment bank and working crazy hours. I knew I wasn't going to be able to go on the PGA Tour, and I kind of stumbled across this dating advice. Back then, I think it was 2005, 2006. Like, a buddy was like, "Hey, you got to read this book. It's called The Game." And it's like these pickup artists who run around and they try to pick up chicks. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know about that. But I read the book and I was like, okay. I had some, for the first time, I kind of had this epiphany that like you could actually change your confidence and you could get somewhere with women if you work on it. Because up until that point, I just thought it was all looks based. I thought like, well, I don't know, an okay looking guy. So I guess I can get an okay looking girl, but there's no way I'm going to be able to land a 10. Because like that's for like my surfer buddies who are like chiseled and you know, perfect cheekbones. Like, but then when I started kind of understanding that there are ways to improve your confidence and that mattered more, I became just obsessed with this whole line of work. So I was spending all my time like approaching women, talking to other guys about how to improve with this stuff. I started a blog and I just started talking about the dumb shit I was doing on my blog, and that got a lot of, you know, traffic eventually, and guys asked me to like be their dating coach. So I never intended to become a dating coach. It was just kind of one of those things that people started offering me money to pay for, and the business kind of went from there. And I was able to get out of investment banking, which I hated. So thank God I did.
Do you get referred to? Like, is that how this network works, Robbie? Like, they're like,
I'm
hey,
pretty sure, dude. If like Home Dude scored me some fucking puss, I'd fucking throw my friends.
yeah, like, hey,
Hey,
listen,
come on
Robbie,
now,
get you
dude.
some fucking food.
Well, yeah,
I don't wanna
there's
just
two
do
types of
cool as
guys.
fuck, but guaranteed.
There's guys like you who do refer, right? Because they're like, dude, I learned some
would.
cool shit.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like, you got to do this. But then there's a lot of guys who are embarrassed about it too, and they don't want to admit that they hired a dating coach. and those guys don't
They lie
refer.
to you and do the whole
So
thing of like, oh, this is my buddy, bro. You should talk to him, bro. Like, he's my coworker.
yeah,
wingman.
sometimes-
He's my coworker. I worked with this dude since
Or have you ever like ran into like a former student and they like acted like they were so suave that they had like ran across you in the streets and they pretended like you were a nobody? Like you were just some scum and they were like above
that's
you.
never happened.
If that's ever happened, dude, hit us up, dude. We will fuck that guy up.
That would be great. He's got like an 11 and he looks at Robbie. And
He is the movie Hitch.
Yeah, you're Hitch.
That's what they said.
Yeah, you're Will Smith, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to tell
Right,
people I'm like
Hitch.
the white Hitch.
That's right.
You're Mitch.
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 Oh my god, you guys are hilarious. I fucking love that, Mitch. I'm using that. I'm stealing that for sure. I'm Mitch.
Nah, bro, I'm Mitch, the guy they made that movie off of. I'm the
No,
original.
Robbie.
Will who?
Yeah.
Yeah, Will
Rob,
who?
you're obviously a confident guy. I mean, has there been any time in the last 10 years where you lost your confidence, and what did you do to overcome?
Yeah, so I was like pretty big into the party scene, like the Burning Man festival
Fuck yeah.
sort of scene, about 3.5, 4 years ago. And I was, prior to that, I was like, felt really confident. I was dating cool chicks. But then once I got into that scene, I kept running across these girls that were like incredibly hot, but incredibly like toxic. And I had a series of like 5 or 6 really fucked up relationships where, girls would like leave me in an orgy. It's really shitty when you get left in an orgy.
Bitches. Bro, good thing I drove.
Like-
You're walking home, you slut.
Yeah. One girl banged my best friend.
Yeah. Hopefully that dude's not really married. He can
Gas
ride
grass
home.
her ass.
Horrible.
All right.
But
let's
fun
Robbie
and
talk.
true.
So no, yeah. So it was I just kept getting into these relationships where this crazy shit would happen, these situations that would cause all this jealousy. And I, now when I look back, I'm like, well, it's obvious what you were doing, idiot. Like you were hanging out with crazy party chicks who were, doing way too much Molly and
Drugs.
and
Yeah, they're all out of their mind.
drugs, not really interested in like an awesome relationship, which is what I was looking for. I was trying to meet like a party chick and make her like an awesome housewife,
You're
kind
trying
of
to
like what
settle
you were
down.
talking about with the Fet
Yeah.
Life site.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I was meeting women and through this party scene, it just wasn't working out. I kept getting like, I kept going through these series of like heartbreaks. And then it was obviously, people were telling me like, dude, you got to stop hanging out with these types of chicks, but it just wasn't registering. Because that was just kind of whatever the phase of life I was in. So luckily after, realizing that, I moved away from that, and shortly after met my fiance. So that was, but you can definitely get hung up with the wrong type of people or the wrong type of crowd or doing the wrong sort of shit. Meet women that are just really not good for you, and they could really fuck up your confidence. I've worked with so many guys who are like good looking guys, rich, confident, but they married the wrong girl. And then after divorce, their confidence was like a 0 out of 10 in their words. And
succubus, she just ruined their whole life and shit.
yeah. You ever seen the movie Casino? With
dude.
yeah. So Ginger from Casino.
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Great flick though,
That's
man. by the
crazy,
way, but that's
So your fiance now, does she travel with you, Robbie, or is she in the States?
Yeah, she travels with me. She's actually Ukrainian, so I've been living in Ukraine for the past 3 years.
Damn, dude, she sounds awesome.
And Ukrainian women are
Ukrainian
amazing.
chicks are fucking badass.
He hasn't
Ukrainian
said-
people in general.
He hasn't said anything about her other than she's Ukrainian.
Ukrainian, yeah. So look it up. Ukrainians are fucking the shit.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
calm down.
Irish, dude. You're a piece of
All right,
shit.
All right, shut up.
calm down.
All right, girls, calm down.
So yeah, so she makes money on TikTok actually. She's like a TikTok what do you call it?
TikTok.
Person with a bunch of followers.
Influencer.
Influencer, exactly.
Oh wow.
And so she travels around. She's got we just travel around with this ring light thing that I'm actually using to record here.
Oh, the halo. That's the halo.
The halo, yeah,
Wow,
it's her
there you
shit
go.
here. And yeah, we've been together for almost 2 years and met her in Ukraine doing this stuff. And
That's good.
I have a lot of clients that come to work with me out over in Ukraine. Usually guys work with me for like 3 to 6 months, then eventually they come and do some in-person stuff.
Mm.
And Kiev, Ukraine is one of the best places to go and work on your confidence because it's just full of really gorgeous women who are also like not afraid to be honest and bitchy with you. Like if you approach a Ukrainian woman and they don't like you, they'll be like, "You are disgusting. Don't talk to me."
Yeah.
And
Have you picked up
that is,
any of the language there, Robbie?
yeah, I've been learning Russian for the past 2 years, so I can speak at like a 4-year-old level.
There you
That's
go.
pretty
Nice,
good.
Wow.
Hey.
How do you say "stay away from me, bearded man"?
Mushina is boroda, niet.
There you go. When you hear
There
that, you
you
leave
have
them
it.
alone.
Hey, but all kidding aside, isn't it awesome when like you fuck around and have sex with like a bunch of random girls, you know, of age though, I mean, but like intelligence I'm talking about. And then, well, I always say that. I always say girls are anybody that's like
God
not
damn it.
minded. But and then you meet an actual woman that knows her shit and you're just like, fuck, man, like why am I actually attracted to you? I don't give a fuck about anybody else. Like how your lady is when you know, like you're just like, that's a woman. I'm dating a woman now. I was dating a bunch of fuck off girls for a while.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, you nailed it with what you just said because that was my experience.
Boom.
I was just dating all these
Culture.
these chicks who were, they were fun, they were hot, they were obviously,
Randoms.
fun to hook up with. But yeah, when it came to like having the values and the things that make like an awesome partner, like they had none of that. And when I met my, fiance, she had all of that, and it was just so easy. And that's one thing that whenever I talk to my friends that are like happily married or in a great relationship, they all say like we met, it was easy. I didn't have to like do any crazy shit or play any crazy games, and things just kind of developed and we just clicked. And obviously you got to work on your communication. There's all a bunch of shit that you got to work on in a relationship, but things were kind of easy from the get-go. And I have all these clients that come to me that are trying to like get this girl who is just
They
either
want.
not interested or there's this big old story. And I'm like, you're way better off just forgetting about her and trying to meet someone new where you can have a better start, because that will usually result in a better ending too.
Well, the thing I always tell my friends is this: I'm like, dude, you can have fun with anybody new because when you're with somebody for the first time, everything's fun, you know.
Or try to find a chick with like amnesia.
We're like, you were happy yesterday.
Yeah.
No, but what I always tell my friends is like, you gotta be with some chick that you could be bored with and still be happy. You know, like even if you're just watching TV or whatever, like that's
Mom.
the girl to be with.
Just kidding.
He said his mom.
No, yeah, man, that's
I'm
the
your
key.
mom, but hot.
Guys, I'm the best coach there is.
It took me
Success.
years. It took me years forever, but fuck your
I'm the
mom.
worst-
but a hot
I'm
version.
the worst dating coach ever. Find your mom, but hot.
Why do you guys keep pointing at me?
Find your mom, but
I'm
a different
sorry, you're
ethnicity.
there.
A different
That's
ethnicity, but
Well, Robbie, I mean, obviously you seem happy. You have a fiance. You're living out there in the Ukraine, living it up. Has the thought ever occurred that you wanted to be the next Dan Brazilian of the Ukraine, and and live that lifestyle?
see, and I was
yeah.
fucking snowed in minus fucking hiding. You're living it up. You got a fucking hot ass chick. You're in Russia. You're fucking loving life, bro.
Yeah, I mean, when I
Love Russia,
mentioned
right?
that sort of
Okay,
party
so
scene
Ukraine
earlier,
is damn near Russia.
I was living kind of like that Dan Bilzerian lifestyle. I partnered up with a guy who actually ran Ukrainian Playboy, and we were putting together parties, and it was all the crazy shit you see on Instagram, in real life. And did that for like 3 years, and I got checked off a bunch of shit on the sexual bucket list, which was awesome. I recommend that every guy, like before you settle down, you should definitely try to like
Right?
get those things off the bucket list, because if you don't,
You're gonna want.
odds are you might want to come back to them, and that'll lead to cheating and it'll fuck up your relationship. So I always tell guys, like, if you feel the need to like do a whole bunch of crazy shit, like go do it, because yeah. So I did, and I felt like I got out of my system, and now I don't do that shit anymore, but I have a lot of clients that do. So I've got, connects with that stuff. So if anyone is listening wants like to have those experiences, hit me up. It's a lot easier than you think.
Ukrainian Van Wilder.
So let me ask you another question. I got a lot of good ones. If I wanted to run for,
the first one was great.
Look, if I wanted to run for governor of California, right? And I ran on one platform, which was, I'm not saying the divorces are, but let's put a pause on divorce, right? Or a pause on marriage, just so people can. And I'm like, before I finish, let me get Robbie Kramer over here. Yeah,
let's put a purge on marriages.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. You're all one day a year. The day after Valentine's Day, we get to fuck whoever we want.
I get Robbie Kramer to do my dirty work.
He comes on TV.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the fuck the question was.
I know. What the fuck was
What is your question, dude?
It was a statement, dude. It was no question.
Exactly. It was a statement. He's basically, I'm basically saying he's right. Like,
right.
Get your shit off your fucking bucket list before you go get married. All right.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
if not,
Go
we're going to
taste
step
life.
in and we're going to put a pause on things like marriage.
Go
That
taste
is
life
true.
before you start asking for flavors.
exactly.
Any other questions
Yeah,
for Robbie
folks.
that are good questions?
What's the best thing to you in Ukraine? Because we're gonna spend money pretty soon and travel across the United States. Ukraine's probably next, probably like what, $100 more to fly over there. But I mean, like, we're gonna go to all kind of places and do all kind of things. So what's cool in Ukraine? You said Kiev. Kiev is known.
Yeah, if you go to Kiev, you can go to the Chernobyl Museum and
The Chernobyl's
walk around
Kiev.
in the. Yeah, it's an hour
Oh,
north
yeah,
of
dude.
Kiev.
It's
So
actually doing that
you
shit.
can go to where the reactor exploded, and I don't know if you guys saw that. It was like a 5-episode miniseries
HBO
on
series? Fuck
Chernobyl.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing. So you can do that. You can drive a tank and run over a car in the tank. So that's pretty badass. Yeah.
That's first date material right there.
that is first date material.
That'll get you laid. That will get you laid right there.
If you were a dictator, what would you do?
Yeah.
All right, last question, Robbie. What's the future for you?
Just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. I love coaching guys and I love helping them with this area of life. I've gotten, I think, like 150 dudes married.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude. That's
There you go.
badass.
Haven't gone to all the weddings, of course, but I always appreciate the invite. So yeah, just gonna keep trying to help guys. That's my passion. And if anyone that was listening, they want to get some advice or you want to pick up that dating protocol, you can grab that on my site. Maybe there's a show notes and the link is just innerconfidence.com.
Or if they just want to
And,
stalk you and watch how you live your life.
Here's my
Pick up
question,
notes.
Rob. Like, this is my big one because I'm not an internet person. I hate the whole thing. I'm like you. I like interacting with people in real life. Do you think this is going to continue and it's only going to get worse with the internet being the way it is, that people are going to not interact and this is going to be the way people date online? Or do you think that it's going to become more old school and people are going to start dating like free style? Like,
Well, I think eventually it'll hit a tipping point where guys will get fed up with it. Like the trend that I've noticed, and it's subtle, but there's it's almost like the rich are getting richer but the more pussy are getting more pussier, right? Like there's guys like Dan Blazarian that are just, they have like this insane network of women, and that's just growing because of Instagram.
yeah, every
So the
post
guys who are
about the next
crushing-
girl, they're like, hey, look at this one. It's my
Well,
Tuesday, my
it's more.
Wednesday.
It's more than that too. You notice the procreation rate, like all of our
it's
bullshit
horrible.
and joking aside, like procreation rate has dropped everywhere in every country. It's because guys really are cowards, or they don't have the confidence. Whatever.
Or we're finally having fun and we're taking advantage of what was the 70s.
No, it's more than that.
I think it's
Look at Japan, like the suicides are up, but the procreation rate is
I
down.
think that's the internet.
So it's like, again, the
Yeah.
internet,
Yeah.
whatever happened.
Yeah, he's right. There's in a lot of
having
countries, there's
confidence.
actually a declining population
Yeah.
in most of the first world countries. And that's a lot of it is due to the internet, like the metaverse that's coming out. Like fuck that shit. That's just gonna get way less people laid.
Hell yeah.
Fuck
Say
Mark
that again.
Zuckerberg.
Fuck fucking meta.
And yeah, so and it's just the guys at the top, the guys, it's like the top 5% are fucking 90% of the hot girls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the guys at the bottom, 90% of dudes either aren't getting laid or they're fucking
Getting the
girls
scrap
that,
of the 5% remaining. Yeah.
exactly.
Bottom feeder.
You fucking bottom feeder.
Fucking bottom feeder.
I never had sex with a 10, but one night I fucked 5 twos.
Including you.
Anyways, yeah, innerconfidence.com. A round of applause for Robbie for making the
Fuck
time. I know it's early.
One of our
It's
best.
late,
Guys.
One of our best.
but we really appreciate you, and I know it's been a couple times, but we finally got you on the show, and it's great to have you. So
Yeah, guys, you guys are
innerconfidence.com.
fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah,
And
dude.
check out Robbie's Instagram and any other things you want to plug, Rob?
I have a podcast as well. That's called the Leverage Podcast. You can find that on my site on innerconfidence.com. Just click on podcast and yeah, grab that dating protocol I mentioned. That's like the first thing on my site. So if you're a single guy and you're going on dates and you're not using this protocol, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And if you're crushing it on dates, you're probably already using this protocol without realizing it, like you were
Yeah,
mentioning.
Joe can't read. So.
And this will just kind of help you improve it that much. So grab that on my site
Don't be able to make
and shoot me a line on Instagram.
older sister.
Like,
Oh yeah.
hit me up.
Hit him
yeah,
up
dude.
on Instagram. We'll send all the links below. Thanks again. One more time for Robbie, everybody.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, sir.
Thanks, guys. Great being here.
All right. Let me just